beyond gaming, there's a lot of advancements in the music industry with technology, and everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. Earlier this year, whenever ChatGPT came out, I'm very into technology, but I wasn't paying a lot of attention to that area. But you look at like something like ChatGPT and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really much more advanced than I anticipated. So now you're starting to see this fight, this Napster style fight that's kind of starting to emerge in the music industry. And I know you are in here kind of stirring the pot on it like you do so well, where you're kind of pushing things forward. But you have some, like I think it's the RIAA that's coming out and warning people. And I'm sure their intentions are well, because I could see the possibility of this devaluing people's catalogs, so I understand that, but I don't think they're trying to be dicks about it. Like, I think it's a reasonable, but I'm wondering, like, where do you think the balance is with this sort of AI generated music, where I know you said like you might even split revenue with people on this. Yeah. So kind of what's your thought process? Because I don't know enough about this to even have an opinion.
Yeah. So I think there's a macro conversation about AI. And I don't want to like come off flippant about this music portion, because the music portion is a very small portion.
Sure.
Right. So like, imagine that something that I feel we will figure out sooner than later, which is what is the magic soup that creates consciousness. And I think that even if we figure that out, we'll figure it out at math, and there's something that we figured out that's how you create consciousness, right? And even if we create a different version of them, these are all nuanced things, we will argue with it.
Yeah.
But imagine we know the secret sauce, right? Okay, that's what it is. That's how you put this together. Now we have AI, which we can't really, like, I don't know that you're conscious.
Right.
I just taking it at value that I assume, because you look like me and we talk together, we have conversations, that I'm assuming you're conscious, and I'm the same way I am.
Right.
But I can't prove that you are. I have no way of telling. The same thing is probably going to happen at some point with artificial intelligence, where now we have bigger questions. Now, is it not right to create things that can suffer? Is it right to create things that we make as our kind of pets that advance human society? These are all macro different questions. Now, if you zoom in and talk about music only, and we're talking about things like copy your voice or large bricks of data sets where we're pulling up things quicker than Google can do it, or we can help you like your personal assistant, but it's not sentient, right? It's not this conscious thing. Now, if we're talking about that, we can talk in a little bit more opinionated, flippant terms, I think, where it's not as offensive, right? Because there are big differences there. Now,
you would say, though, just in this one little area, you would say that AI, do you think it overall could be dangerous if it's totally unregulated?
I think when you're creating something, there's nothing wrong with making it work for you and making it progress the human race in a way that is beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what we should be striving for. Now, and there may need to be guardrails on that. There'll absolutely need to be guardrails.
Yes, I agree.
Because if you create consciousness, now you have a big problem on your hand.
Yes.
Because if you do figure out what it is that this thing starts having feelings, then you're kind of a fucking asshole if you just put this thing in a box and you have it work for you.
Yeah.
It's like a super futuristic dystopian slavery.
Yes.
It's a weird thing, right? So if we take that away, that's not happening yet, right? What's happening now is you're getting massive amounts of data that this thing is crunching quickly, and it's knowing how to interact with us on a way, because it's watched what we do and how we like to interact, basically watching the internet and seeing how we talk to each other, how we interact. And so it's doing it in a way that we could go, well, is this thing alive? But I don't think there's anything right now that makes us think it's really alive. At this point, it's just data, right? It's making it
the tech executives, some of them that are resigning.
Yeah, I don't believe that stuff.
Where they're like internally, they're like, it's sentient.
I just think that there's so many wild people. I think it's like the UFO thing, where it's like, you're going to get wild people that take things certain ways, and everyone has different emotions. And until I see proof that this thing, like, again, you're never able to prove it, but to be at some point where you're talking to something and going like where I'm talking to you, if you told me you're AI, I'd be like,
yeah,
this guy feel something?
Yeah.
Like, am I a jerk for turning you off at some point? Like, if you hate your life and you want to abort mission, am I an asshole for creating you? These are bigger questions, human questions, right?
Sure.
So, but if we get back to music, and my totally like, this guy doesn't care about anything. I think there's a bunch of cool use cases. If you're writing a story, if you're writing lyrics, if you're writing a novel, if you're writing a newspaper article, and you prompt AI at this point in the right way, you will find tidbits of how they wrote it. You'll give me 20 options here. Give me 20 of that picture. And I go, oh, that's interesting. Well, how do I take that and go somewhere else with it?
Yes.
That's using creativity 20x, what you can do. Because what are we doing anyways? I listen to Mozart. I listen to Guns N' Roses. I listen to Pink Floyd. I listen to Diane Ward. I listen to Tenacious D. I'm taking this database, but I physically don't know how to bring these things up quick enough to really see the full spectrum of what I've been inputted. AI will help us right there, show us the greater, collection of data in this world. So I believe that there are a bunch of little funny use cases. It can help artists be more creative, and you kind of stand on the shoulders of this AI, which is really standing on the shoulders of ourselves already, but in a way that you wouldn't have thought of. I could see it being, I like this record, prompt this record, and make me 10 different versions of a song like that. And now a fan has a version of the record of the you they really like, not the new you doing the wacky thing, and they can have some enjoyability of that. And I also think it'd be cooler if the artist was letting the voice be used and letting people create songs that sound like you, but splitting the royalties with them. You did the work, you prompted this thing, you found it, give me 50% for my likeness, right? Now it gets weird when you go like, well, mix it with Axl Rose's voice and M. Shadow's voice and Lane Staley's voice and make it sound Alice in Chains meets Soundgarden meets, those are weird things, right? And then one last thing. The last thing I'll say is that we use the blockchain to verify what is the real artist and what is the
That's
AI.
what I was going to get to.
And so all of a sudden, if it's got the blue check mark, and this is like
Sure.
it's got the blue check mark, this is really Avenged Sevenfold.
Right.
You got the green check mark, this is the millions of things that have been made, and these are the ones that are voted higher up because they kind of hit the nail on the head, and they're the ones that make people feel something.
Right.
Right? And so now you've got this really cool use case for Web3. It's verification on the blockchain of what's real and what's not. And if you don't understand blockchain, you would go, well, can't that be? No, it can't.
It's a digital notebook.
It's digital, and it would be coming from us.
Sure.
Right? We would be the authenticator saying, this is real, this is not.
Right.
Now there's a lot of minutia, dust in the eyes, mud in the water, and different questions that get asked there. And so these are things that we'll have to figure out.
They just still have to be worked out.
They have to be worked out.
We're not there yet, but I also want to say earlier on you mentioned The Truman Show, and that's such a fascinating movie. Yeah. And did that movie have an impact on you?
It did. I think everyone at some point looks around and goes, and this is ego. Like, is this all for me? Like, what's going on here?
I think when you get to the level of success that you've had, but I think even, people that are in all different sorts of lives, but like for you, I think in some ways you look around and you go like, okay, I'm on a stage, I'm playing in front of 100,000 people, and you're like, is this shit real?
Yeah, you could definitely look at it that way, and then you'd be so bummed if you found out everyone was like,
it's real. Yeah, but yeah.